What is up, everybody? Today we are in the 2019 Honda Insight LX. So this is a third generation Honda Insight, which started in 2019 and was really only in production until 2022, until they replaced it with the Civic Hybrid. So brand new, this Honda Insight LX was $24,000 US, but this one, listed at First International Auto Group out of Merrimack, New Hampshire, is just under $15,000 because it has 98,000 miles. And of course, this is no longer a brand new car. So I've had the pleasure of driving this car today, and it's pretty unique. So it has a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder, which is paired to a 2-generator electric motor setup. So basically there's one electric motor that generates electricity, and then another one that is part of the powertrain. And so how this powertrain works is it combines for a total of 151 horsepower, and basically at any given moment you can be in full EV mode rather than the gas powertrain, and eventually, as you apply throttle, you'll hear that kick on. There's not really a set point in which that does that. It's really just when the electric motor has had enough and the gas motor kicks on to give it some help. But if you're just kind of rolling around a parking lot, you'll basically be in full EV mode as long as this little indicator shows that you have charge. So of course we're at about half charge right here, and we have a good amount of gas in the tank. But these tanks can combine for a total, the EV, the hybrid system combined can total for just above 500 miles. And, even the predicted EPA range for full city driving is like 520, and then the highway is like 580. So you can get a ton of miles in this car, and it might be a good road trip option for you. I have some good news about the electric motor and when it comes to the trunk space. So in a lot of hybrid cars, you'll find that the trunk space has been compromised in some sort of way to, give some room to the EV battery. But in this one, we have a full-size trunk, which is comparable to the Honda Civic of the same generation. Legroom and general cabin room is also going to be basically equal to that of the Civic. The only difference between those two cars is this one's slightly wider and about 200 pounds heavier. So sitting behind myself, I'm 5'9". I have ample amounts of legroom and about an inch of headroom. We're kind of compromised when it comes to headroom. They've kind of made this a more slopey design, make it a little more aerodynamic, but we take away from these back passengers. We don't have much to brag about back here anyways, because we don't even have, any sort of ventilation or even speakers on the door cards. No cup holders whatsoever, so that part is kind of weird. You can fold down these seats altogether to get access from the cabin into the trunk, vice versa. But yeah, really, these back seats are going to not be very comfortable for people who are in here for a long period of time. However, we don't have cup holders in the middle. We do have some little slots on our door cards which could fit a tiny water bottle. So when shopping for one of these Honda Insights, your main question might be, how does this compete against the Toyota Prius in terms of fuel economy? So the Honda Insight is rated for 55 city and 49 highway miles per gallon. When you bring this car to a stop, you're going to notice that the powertrain kicks off and you basically are back to full EV mode. And then when you get going, you actually are kind of expecting to hear the engine start back up, and that doesn't happen right away, which is funny. It doesn't happen until you start getting going here, and as you can hear it now, you hear that gas powertrain kind of whine. So it's paired to a CVT, which is a continuously variable transmission, if you don't know, and that pairing can sometimes lead to, kind of like slushy powertrain characteristics, such as, you want to feel a nice snappy shift, unless you're in an EV. but really it gets kind of rubber bandy. You know, it kind of feels like a rubber band. So right off the line, when you punch, you know, the throttle, you're gonna get full EV mode for about half a second to a second, and then that gas powertrain is gonna kick on, and it's kind of a weird but interesting interaction where, you know, you almost are gonna expect yourself to be like full EV mode for about like, you know, up to like 30 miles an hour, but the gas engine kicks on pretty fast. It's weird. I feel like if you hard accelerate from a stop, the gas engine should just know it needs to be on right away, but there's a little bit of a delay with that. So you'll find that at a stop, these Honda Insights are quite lovely. They make basically no noise when they're at low speeds and stopped, and when they start going again, you don't hear the engine kick on right away, so it's kind of almost like you're driving a full EV until that powertrain reminds you just how noisy it is. So the gas powertrain has very much a, you know, droning to it, I would say. It basically constantly whirs when it's on. It almost kind of sounds like you're powering a generator to your house. And I think that's probably the most lackluster characteristic of this Honda Insight. Ergonomics are pretty good. We do have manual adjustment seats, so you're not going to be able to, you know, kind of get any sort of lumbar support in terms of, you know, a power adjustment, but I have been able to find a comfortable driving position for myself and have had, you know, a pretty good time driving this car, you know, no back pain or anything like that. The seats themselves are cloth and don't really provide any side bolstering, but in this car you're not really gonna need it, as, you know, you might be able to pull like half a G with this thing. As far as the materials in here, mostly it's hard plastic. I do wish they decided to go with a leather or, you know, other, maybe like some sort of cloth, some durable cloth on the steering wheel rather than this hard plastic. Maybe we could have gone with this material that's on this part of the dashboard, though it does provide a nice, you know, characteristic to the interior, a nice design point. This is really what we're going to be touching 99% of the time, is our steering wheel. So why not put a little money into the steering wheel, forget about the dashboard, make it all hard pebbled plastic. What do I care, as long as the thing I am touching has a good feel to it. Anyways, as far as buttons, we have everything we might need. We have a lane follow assist button in here. We also have lane keep assist, which you can turn off and on. I do appreciate that. And we have emergency braking, which can be turned off and on as well. Our cruise control is on the right hand side of the steering wheel, whereas on the left side of the steering wheel we have our volume control. We have our digital screen. We can adjust some settings in here. Just like some of the new Hondas, they've kind of continued to do that in here. I think this is kind of a nice display here where you can kind of see where the power is coming from. If I take my foot off the throttle, as you can see, we're just in full EV mode right here, and then when I apply some throttle, everything is powering, you know, the gas powertrain plus that EV powertrain. So it's kind of an interesting screen, but I wouldn't leave that on all the time because it'll get kind of distracting. Down here you can see your range and fuel, which we were on before. Over here you can see live fuel economy data. We have speed and time, driving support, driver attention, maintenance, and various settings. So basically every setting, every adjustment in this Honda Insight has a physical button for, which I do appreciate. As we've kind of gotten into the more modern cars as of recent, you know, this one being a 2019, you'll see that more and more is taken out of cars and put into digital screens. And, you know, some settings end up being quite buried. But we do have some, you know, obviously we do have this little digital screen here and another one here. but the adjustments are still physical, you know, and honestly, I think the Honda infotainment system has been very good to use. I've driven it in the Ridgeline, I've driven it in the new Honda Odyssey, and I've had no problems with it whatsoever. So one thing I definitely have to mention about the trim levels for the Honda Insight is that the LX is of course the bottom trim, this is the base model, but you might want to opt for the Touring or the EX. And here's why. Those both get the 8-inch infotainment screen, which come with Apple CarPlay integration. This one does not. No Apple CarPlay in here. And honestly, reading the manual and the PDFs that are on the Honda site, I was kind of taken aback by that. Like, why not just, you know, swallow up the end of that money, you know, maybe take a little less profit on the base model and give everybody Apple CarPlay, because I think you'll be better off. I think they wanted to appeal to people buying the higher trims, so honestly, I don't blame them there. Regarding sound deadening and overall ride quality, so sound deadening in here is just basically at the bare minimum in which you would expect. If you get in a base Civic, you're gonna get the same amount of sound deadening, and these tires are a little loud too. I think most of what I'm hearing is road noise from the tires. So maybe if you were to opt for a more quiet tire that still has a level of efficiency that this car wants, you might have a better time in here, especially if you're going on larger commutes. Talking about the design of the Honda Insight, you'll see that it kind of has a blend of the 2019 Honda Accord and a little bit of the Civic in here as well. It's funny, it looks to me more like the Accord, but it's the same size as the Civic. The interior design is kind of bland and boring. Really just everything in here is a shade of black. And the only contrast we have is the little bit of white stitching we have on this side of the dashboard, which is far away from me. It's almost like I'm at a middle school dance and, you know, me and the cloth are avoiding each other. Alright, so let's approach the worst road in Merrimack, New Hampshire at 20 miles an hour, see how this thing handles the bumps. Fairly stiffly sprung. You can definitely tell that we don't have a lot of room for suspension travel, and this thing is set up honestly a little bit more stiff than the Civic of the same generation, which I drove quite a few years ago. You know, my brother has an EXL Honda Civic, and that car was just a much nicer package, much nicer ride quality too, but of course you give up the fuel economy if you're not getting the Insight. Also, I should give a quick shout out to my brother. He is a longtime viewer of Auto Joe and a very frequent commenter. You'll definitely see him below on a lot of my videos. If you see him commenting, give him a shout. Tell him he's the coolest brother of the family. And, you know, my sister will probably agree with him too, so that's okay. He's awesome. Alright, popping it into reverse, we actually have a very high resolution backup camera. Very nice looking, very high quality. However, I think that's because of just how small it is. But honestly, I have no complaints with it whatsoever. The one thing that you might not get in here is, you know, some of the advanced parking sensors that some of the higher trims get, but that's okay. So to describe the acceleration in this car when you put your foot down, I think the proper word for it is awkward. Yes, it's awkward. I think smooth acceleration from a stop with just a little bit of throttle input and you're mostly in EV mode, that's a lovely experience. But once that gas powertrain pops on, it just gets so weird with the CVT and, you know, the hybrid integration. It's funky. You know, this car is rated for 197 pound-feet of torque, but you really don't feel it. I think if they paired it to, maybe the 10-speed automatic in which they put in a lot of Honda cars, this might do better in terms of performance, not necessarily fuel economy. I do think they made the right move doing the CVT for fuel economy reasons. I think they just overall have to put a little less effort into development to get good fuel economy out of a CVT. I think really your main concern with them long term is reliability of that transmission. As far as features, we don't really have much of anything. We don't have keyless entry. We do have push button start though. But we don't have a sunroof in here. We don't have powered seats that you would get in, the higher trims of the Insight. And I think that's the route I would go. This is a fairly nice driving experience. I think the worst thing about it is the sound of that gas powertrain. I think if they were to refine that a little bit, if they did a new Insight, of course now they do the Civic Hybrid, and I'd be curious to see how those systems integrate and if they've done a little bit of refinement on that powertrain. I definitely want to drive one of those soon, so Honda, please, provide a car, dang. Anyways, with that being said, if I were to buy one of these Honda Insights, I would opt for a higher trim. Definitely check out an EX or a Touring. This is still a lovely car if you, can't afford one of those higher trims. So definitely check out this one for under $15,000 at First International Auto Group out of Merrimack, New Hampshire. They do great business and have a lot of Hondas, so if you're interested in this one or some of their other cars in their lineup, definitely check out the website. With that being said, please leave your comments, your questions, and your concerns below. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.